When did you start kind of dreaming of AfroUnicorn as a business, or even just as an idea, as a character?
As a idea, it was 2018 because a friend kept referring to me as a unicorn, but he had been calling me unicorn for a couple of years. And then finally one day I just said, Cortez, why do you keep calling me a unicorn? He said, well, because April, you're raising your boys. I'm a single mom of two amazing boys. One just went off to LSU and the other one is in high school where he's getting his AA and his diploma at the same time. So I have two smart young men. And I have my insurance agency going on, I think, 13 or 14 years this year. And then I was a licensed real estate broker. And so he's like, April, you're doing unicorn stuff. And I'm like, but what does that even mean? He's like, well, because you're managing everything. I'm like, yeah, I'm a woman. That's what we do. He goes, no, April, but you do it at an extraordinary level. You are a unicorn. And so I said, okay, I'm the unicorn. This is going to be my little avatar. And every time I would send a text or write copy on social, I would just put the unicorn emoji to represent who I was. And then after a period of time, I just kept looking at the unicorn like, it doesn't resonate with me. Like this little unicorn on our iPhones does not look like me. And all the goodness that I say that I am, I don't see it in this unicorn. So I went on back to Google to go find a unicorn that looked like me. There was nothing there. I was like, okay. So here's an opportunity for me to create this now, as we know it, AfroUnicorn. I reached out to my cousin. It was all via text. And he's an artist. And I was telling him, like, hey, I have this idea. I want her to be called AfroUnicorn. I need her to have curly hair. She has to have a crown, jewels in her crown. I want her to have eyeshadow. I want her to have earrings. And it was so opposite because I went from not knowing nothing about unicorns to now I'm like telling people exactly how I want this unicorn to look. This could be bigger than me. Like I was looking for an avatar for myself, but I'm pretty sure there are other people who have felt or feel. We suffer sometimes from imposter syndrome, not believing that we really can, not believing that we really are unicorns, as my friend called me for 2 years and I kept ignoring him. So I said, I want to find my tribe. I feel like someone else is going to resonate with these unicorns. So in my mind, I said, I want to create a movement. I want to give them their avatar to let them know who they are. And I was looking for women entrepreneurs. That was the start. Now, I remember during the planning of me putting AfroUnicorn together, my cousin and the guy that I was working with kept telling me, hey, bro, I think kids like unicorns. I think you should include kids. I'm like, for what? What do they do?
Yeah, I mean,
are they raising kids? Do they have businesses? How are they unicorns?
No, I mean, it makes sense. I mean, you're growing up like knowing about My Little Pony, and because that's the first thing that goes in my head is like magical ponies, right?
I was She-Ra, He-Man.
Yep.
Go. What was it? Lion.
It's Thundercats.
Thundercats.
Go!
Thundercats. Thank you for that.
Appreciate it, Craig.
But yeah, so I was, although I was a dancer, I wasn't a girly girl. So I've never seen My Little Pony ever till this day. So I did not know that unicorns was a kid thing.
Yep.
And it was the way that I was introduced to them because this grown man was calling this grown woman a unicorn. So I was like, I'm not doing the kids. And then my marketer at the time, his name is Ronell, he sent me a mock-up image of a little chocolate black girl with an Afro puff on the top of her head with her hands open. And she had my unicorn on her shirt. And I was like, okay.
You're like, I'm sold.
See it.
I'm sold.
We can have the kids, but I wasn't that sold. I was like, we're going to call them AfroUnicorns in training. Like I still felt like they had to.
You still thought it was just like, it was still you.
It was a women's movement. I invited 25 women to my home. who are either entrepreneurs or who I knew that wanted to get into entrepreneurship. If they had products, I purchased their items for the other women that were in the room. I had a videographer come in to ask a couple of questions. What would you tell your younger self when you hear what does Black Girl Magic mean to you? And when you hear the words AfroUnicorn, what does that mean? It was kind of like now I know it was called a case study. So I got their live reactions. I had written bios on all of them, didn't ask them any questions. These were people that I knew. So I wanted to find out what I was telling them, what I thought made them unique, divine, and magical. And I was building this platform to where women could support other women. And eventually I wanted to have these conferences and we can find out the different business opportunities that were out there.
And that honestly would have been incredible. That alone would have been incredible just within the business world.
It's going to happen too.
And it will.
Yeah.
But I'm so glad that it went the route it did. Like when you're explaining the emoji, first of all, like most people that have just an emoji idea would be very short-sighted and be like, okay, I want to submit this to Bitmoji or whoever and get my own, AfroUnicorn made, right? Just so I can use it and have it, not even as like an Apple emoji, but just as something you can use. You can search it and you can always create Bitmojis. That's pretty easy. I'm so glad that you didn't just do that and you created this whole and then it turned into multiple shades because honestly, emojis have like all the people are different shades of color, right? So it's like it's good to get that across the spectrum. You took it a whole further, but the spectrum fits your niche too.
Right.
And that's lovely. Like all shades of color.
Yeah.
And to have that now represent into little girls being inspired to just be strong, independent dreamers, thinkers,
so the way
believers.
that it launched was on brand to make sure you have a brand. I feel like brands should have a movement behind it. Like there should be some built-in DNA. And so no matter which direction you go in, you can always get back to the core of it. So at that event, the women said, "Oh, what's your Instagram account?" I learned Instagram. I found out how to find my audience. I learned about hashtag strategies. And
where did you learn about it? Where did you do your research? Did you use Reddit? Did you use
nothing?
Just doing it.
Yeah, I just did it, and I saw like the hashtag. So I clicked on the hashtag, and then I saw that there were multiple posts, and I'm like, okay, well, let me see if let me look for Black Unicorn. That's probably what they call themselves, and let me look for women entrepreneur hashtag. And then I would go on their comments, and I would say, hey, have you ever seen an AfroUnicorn before? I created a brand of women of color who hustle, follow the movement. And if you already consider yourself part of that crew, you're like, okay, her message just resonated with me. Let me go click over to her page. Oh my gosh, there's unicorns that look like me. I have to follow her and I need one of these shirts because I took the pictures from the 25 women I had at the event and I posted them all on my page and I talked about what made them unique, divine, and magical. I would say, hey, check out Tiana. She works at whatever business 9 to 5, but then she has her own traveling notary company. And this is why you should support her. And this is what makes her unique, divine, and magical. Make sure you tap in. And so people saw that I was genuinely supporting them. And so they just got on the wave and the movement. And they're like, let me go grab my shirt. And that was in May. I did skip some steps. And I think it's important because when I launched in May 17th, when I got home May 30th with my son, May 31st, my favorite uncle, died of a massive heart attack. 17 hours later, my other uncle died of pneumonia. We had a double funeral the following week in Louisiana. I knew it was going to break my grandmother's heart. It did. She died 6 months later. A month after that, we were in a global pandemic. And the entire time I had this, Nipsey had died like right a month before I launched. And so I was just like, the marathon continues, all gas, no brakes. Clearly, something big is going to happen if all of this bad things keep coming to me. Like something good is coming and it's trying to prevent me from moving. So I got to stay focused and I got to keep moving. So when we launched in May, by July, Tiffany Haddish was rocking and supporting the brand, Alicia Keys, Sherry Shepherd. And, it was all organic. And it still is very much organic. Yeah, so we just started this movement, and then COVID was a blessing. People were at home, bored in the house, bored, and wanting to tickety tock away. And
I
what
did so many things that I normally would never do. So
and what better way to throw on a unicorn shirt
yeah,
and show us your new dance moves?
yep.
And interesting enough, you mentioned Dancing with the Stars. So Phaedra was on there maybe a season ago. She did a TikTok during COVID. And then when she's on Dancing with the Stars, she used it as her practice shirt
So cool.
3 or 4 years later.
So cool.
and did another TikTok.
So your shirt's already been on Dancing with the Stars.
My shirt has been on Dancing with the Stars.
So cool.
Yeah. And so then a viral video came about of a little girl wearing an AfroUnicorn shirt. She was outside taking pictures, and someone said, "I love your hair." She said, "Thank you. It's an Afro." And then that video went very viral, and it got all the way up to Oprah Daily. And then Walmart sent me a message and asked me would I consider bringing in AfroUnicorn through Party Supplies. And then it made me the first Black woman to have a fully licensed character brand in major retail.
Thanks for spending your time with us today on the More For Me and You podcast. If you've made it to the end, we appreciate you. Now, go do us a quick favor. Please like, comment, and share this episode. And before you go, don't forget to subscribe so you never miss an episode with the incredible guests we have coming up. You can also follow us at Momi2 Podcast on Instagram and on TikTok. Oh, and for your next movie night, check out the Momi2 app. It's free and packed with amazing movies and shows you've probably never seen. Until next time, take care, stay safe, and we'll see you in the pod.